Hi, Danika Watson, nurse practitioner, coming to you today to talk about insulin resistance. This is a disclaimer. This is not medical advice, recommendations, or a diagnosis. This does not take the place of a well child check or a sick visit. If you have any questions, please see your healthcare provider or your pediatrician. Insulin resistance is on a rapid rise, and we are seeing it day in and day out, and when I'm seeing it in younger and younger children. I would say pre-pandemic, we were seeing a lot in teenagers, and post-pandemic, we're seeing a lot in young children and tons in teenagers. And let me just give you a little background. Insulin resistance is when your body becomes resistant to the insulin it's producing. So it's producing insulin, but it's only using a small amount to combat the amount of sugar that your body has in its body, to break down the sugars to rid it out of your body. And the pandemic just quadrupled, I feel like, the number of patients that we're seeing with this predisposition or this on the rise in their body. You can typically tell whether you get a diagnosis of insulin resistance or not. You can tell in kids and adults if they are on that track just by looking at their skin. A lot of them will get a super dark ring around their neck. It's not dirty, it's just their skin thickening and darkening. And sometimes they'll get it around their elbows and their knees. This is just where those skin cells don't slough off, they don't break down, and it's because of the amount of sugar in their body. Now, that doesn't mean that every one of these patients or every one of y'all, whoever is struggling with this, doesn't mean I'm not saying that you sit there and eat a ton of sugar every single day, but overall your diet is probably not the best. Not only that, but a large part of this is your sleep hygiene. It plays such a huge role. If you're not getting enough sleep, then your body is telling you need to eat because you need energy to burn to survive. And so instead of being in this nice, happy, livable state, you're constantly in a fight or flight. So your body is constantly way stressed out, way up here. You're not getting enough sleep, so you need to eat, and you eat all the things that give you energy, the carbs, the sugars, etc. And then you just do this all day long. And that creates this problem. Another thing that can add to this insulin resistance problem is hormones, and having your hormones being off, and even when you are a teenager, starting in your early teenage years, your hormone production can be totally lost and off depending on your lifestyle, which can lead to this problem. So having a undisrupted hormone regulation will help with your insulin resistance as well. There is a lot of understanding that goes with insulin resistance. It's not just a fix your diet and you fix it all. There's usually multiple factors, like I said, your sleep, your hormone balance, etc. But it does start with just being aware that this is going on with your body, and trying to really pay attention to how your body reacts to certain things. Also, something that can add to this is the inability to break foods down in your gut. So when you have some intestinal issues or gut issues where you are maybe sensitive to certain foods, you can start this spiral, and it can lead to insulin resistance. And let me say, insulin resistance is the first step of being diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, okay? And you can live in insulin resistance for a very long time, and you may never get to that actual diagnosis, but it is the first stepping stone. So it's so important that we start recognizing it super early in our own children, and we really pay attention to their bodies and how they react to things, how they react to the stress we put on them, how they react to food, how they react to the little bit of sleep that we give them. That way we can help combat this, and so they don't have a problem many years down the road. If y'all have any questions, y'all reach out. Again, to me, your healthcare provider, and I hope this maybe gets your wheels turning a little bit, and helps you to start thinking about ways that you can help your children and maybe even yourself.